Hello everyone, Luke here. Welcome to my latest My Team video, round 13 out of 22 at the Hungaroring for the Hungarian Grand Prix. A track where qualifying is oh so important, so we've got to try and make sure we get a good place on the grid. And if we don't, we might need a really good start, similar to the start that we had last time out at Silverstone. We got up to 4th from 7th off the start line. If you didn't see that race, did manage to pass Sergio Perez on one of the final corners of the race as well to get our way into the podium places. So that was a fantastic qualifying session and race last time around. Hopefully we'll be able to match that here. We do seem a bit off the pace at the moment, just hovering around the outside of the top 10. We seem to have made a good alternate strategy work here last year, so I wouldn't complain too much if we can work something similar this time around. We are now 3rd in the championship, only the 2 Mercedes ahead of us, so things are really starting to heat up in this My Team season. Maybe, just maybe, if things go our way, we might be able to pull off a championship challenge. Got a bit wide coming out of the penultimate corner, less than ideal. 1 corner to go. Get on the throttle as soon as possible, get the DRS open, and we'll come across the line into 5th position. So we are 5th on the grid. Bottas, who is our rival, as we had to pick last time around. We had a choice between the 2 Mercedes or the Red Bulls, and I'm kind of glad I went for Bottas. Now he's 7th on the grid. Hamilton on pole, Racing Point doing really well. Nick, unfortunately for us, not doing as well, down in 15th place, but he will have a fresh set of tyres, so he might be able to make something work on the strategy. Let's see how the race goes. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a long race, 35 laps. See if we can work our way up the order and maybe, just maybe, sneak another podium.
Run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Stroll, the owner driver, and Albon, Bottas, Ricciardo, Leclerc, and Lando Norris. Vettel, Kvyat, Esteban Ocon, and Sainz, De Vries, Magnussen, George Russell, and Pierre Gasly, Grosjean, Giovinazzi, Boccolacci, and Nicholas Latifi. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Rain is forecast towards the end of this Hungarian Grand Prix, so that might make things a bit trickier than we'd like them to be. We are going to hopefully, though, only do a one-stop strategy, going a bit longer on the soft tyres and then stretching a set of hards out all the way towards the end of the race. Hopefully we won't be in puncture territory by the end, but because this is a tough circuit to overtake on, I'd rather only do one stop and not have to rely on fighting through the field. We'll see if this strategy works. We're in a fairly good grid position. Let's get the race underway. Underway then for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Lots of cars going to the inside, so we're going to see if we can sneak around the outside of some into turn 1 there. Very close with Lance Stroll just behind us. He's going to be extremely quick on the exit. He's going to have to go all the way around the outside though at turn 2, and we hold on to the position. So we've gained a position off the start initially. It's now Hamilton, Perez, Verstappen, myself, Stroll, Albon. Stroll having a look round the outside there into turn 4. That had been a very brave move if he'd have managed to pull that one off, but he does have to just sit in behind for now. And this middle sector, in qualifying, this is where we had all the pace. We're not that quick in a straight line by the looks of things, so pure overtaking is going to be very difficult for us to do, especially if the car in front has the DRS. So this is all going to be about the strategy in this Hungarian Grand Prix, and hopefully the strategy will work out quite well for us. Jeff has said rain in about 15 minutes time. We won't be able to stretch these soft tyres out long enough for intermediates to be worthwhile, although maybe, just maybe, judging by what the strategy window said, I don't think the rain's going to be too bad. We might be able to just hang it out on a set of dry tyres. Not a bad start to the race then, and we are in 4th position. Perez and Verstappen are coming into the pits, and rather than follow them in, I'm going to try and stretch out just that 1 lap longer. I'm also thinking I might go for medium tyres for my next stop, just in case it does rain hard enough that I do need to put intermediate tyres on. I don't want to be on the hard tyres because they'll struggle more when it's damp, and also it's just a waste of going on them. I might as well be on the quicker medium tyres. But let's see what we can do then on this in lap. We are coming into the pits at the end of this lap for a set of mediums.
Exit now.
Fantastic pit stop from the team. Let's see where we come out then relative to some of the cars that pitted earlier. And we seem to be a long way ahead of Perez and Verstappen because they got stuck in this massive queue of cars behind us. So that has actually worked out absolutely fantastically well for us. We are in 10th place at the moment, possibly a net second place. It depends, A, when the rain comes, and B, how heavy is it going to come, because if it comes early on and it is really heavy, everyone who started on the medium tyres is going to be looking absolutely fantastic and we're going to be looking a bit stupid. So we'll see how this race goes. Not too bad though at the moment. We've come out in 10th position. Only Hamilton, who was already pitted, is ahead of us. It should be a fairly straightforward move then on Antonio Giovinazzi. He's not too bad in a straight line, so this isn't going to be as straightforward as I'd have hoped. But down the inside we go into turn 1. He's not got the grip on the exit. I have, and I've got DRS as well. So that's another position gained. We've upped into 8th, past Giovinazzi, and George Russell has come into the pits. You can see here the problem I've got, even with DRS, even with extra fuel, even with overtake, I've got to go for a bit of a late move on the brakes to get past some of these slower cars. Thankfully, I've been able to do so. So I am ahead now of Pierre Gasly, up into 7th position, and as I've gone very wide into turn 2, I lost about 1.5 seconds just being stuck behind him for a lap or so, so that is less than ideal. Grosjean my next target as I go wide at turn 4, and then I've got some free air to just use what's left of these tyres, and as you can see, it's getting very dull. I don't think it's too long before the rain comes. Jeff says we're not that far away from some rain. I'm not far away from going down the inside of Romain Grosjean. That is 6th position. Now we've got some free air until we get up to the back of Hamilton, hopefully, to use what's left of these medium tyres. And if it starts to rain heavy enough, we'll both have to come into the pits. If it doesn't rain that heavy, he might be able to go into the end of the race. So I'm hoping that I can catch him up, and then when I get to the back of him, maybe then, if it just starts raining, that would be ideal. Yep, rain has really started to come down quite quickly. A bit like what we saw happen at the French Grand Prix. So into the pits we come, intermediate tyres. It is going to be on our car, and we had actually caught quite a bit up to Lewis Hamilton in all of that. We should still come out in a net second place when everyone has done their pit stops. So medium tyres wasn't a bad idea. We might have been even able to go for the soft tyres in the end with all of what happened, but we are going to come out on circuit currently as we take it very steady. We're currently in 8th position, but that alternate strategy of starting on the medium tyres has really worked out well for some of those cars outside the top 10. Going to be a lot of overtaking to go on in this race, and we don't know how long the rain is going to last for. Late on the brakes on Carlos Sainz there. He tried everything to try and stop us getting through, but that is another position gained. It has stopped raining, so I'm now looking for the wet parts of the track to try and cool my tyres down on the straights. We're into the top 5, 5th position. Lewis Hamilton, championship leader, is the next car ahead of us.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Confirmed.
Late call from Jeff to head into the pits there. It did say 4 stops, but we will not be doing a 4th stop after this one. I can assure you, into the pits we come, soft tyres on, and these should get us towards the end of the race. Hopefully, well, Sainz has carried on. I was going to say hopefully Sainz would hold Hamilton up in the pits, but that is not going to happen, unfortunately for us. In fact, a few of these top cars have carried on. Kvyat and Vettel obviously weren't really ready for the slick tyres when the call was made. So we come out on track, very close to spinning the wheels up
Nick is coming in for a
on the
stop.
exit. We come out on track in 6th position. DRS has been re-enabled. Need to be careful with these tyres, need to make sure they're in good condition at the end of this race, but we're definitely on for a podium here. Are Hamilton and Ocon? What? Why have they just come into the pits? Are they genuinely going for another pit stop here?
5 laps of fuel remaining.
I don't think the AI think they can get these soft tyres towards the end of the race. I'm not complaining, but that is strange. So they've gone into the pits. We're now up into 2nd place. Does that mean Vettel's coming into the pits as well then? And if he does, we shouldn't have a problem getting these softs towards the end of the race. We should. If Vettel comes into the pits and Kvyat,
Nick in the pit.
we're going to comfortably win this race all of a sudden.
This is your final lap of the race.
Final lap of the race then. Vettel and Kvyat, and I think most of the other drivers did stay out on the set of soft tyres. I think that's probably because they ended up pitting a lap later than everyone else. This has been a very strange Grand Prix. Like, I don't get why Hamilton and Ocon came into the pits. Hamilton is currently battling with Carlos Sainz to try and get back into the top 4. And yeah, that has just gifted us a 2nd position then in this race, as long as we keep it nice and clean for the final part of the lap. Vettel is going to take a victory, and I think that's also going to be his first podium of the season as well, perhaps. Kvyat in 3rd place. You might remember way back at the start of the season, AlphaTauri were looking very good in this championship, and they've just dropped off all of a sudden, but a podium is still going to be a good result for them. And I've only got 2 more corners to go. It is another podium for us, our 5th in a row, 6th podium of the season, and we are just going to ever so slightly decrease that gap to Lewis Hamilton at the top of the championship. Vettel takes the victory, and we come home in 2nd position.
Brilliant job, mate. That's a fantastic podium. Super driving, really strong pace. Very happy.
Confirmation then of the results of Sebastian Vettel winning. I'm in 2nd place and Daniel Kvyat in 3rd. Hamilton inexplicably going for 4 stops, costing him in the end. He only finished 4th. Ocon would have been ahead of us. He might have only done 3. Leclerc fastest lap on 4 stops. Bottas doing 4. Nick doing 4. Verstappen, Perez and Stroll, they were 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and they finished 16th, 17th and 18th. It was definitely the wrong strategy for those guys. I'm not complaining too much. It's got me onto another podium, one which possibly didn't look too likely when the rain started to come down. We are now, though, 2nd in the championship, 2 points ahead of Bottas, 23 points off the lead. And in the constructors, we are staying in 4th position, trying to edge our way up to the back of Racing Point, but I really am going to need Nick to perform a bit more if we are going to get there. Not a bad way to go into the summer break with another podium, and we'll see now if Claire has got any interview questions for us after what was a very challenging and very intriguing Grand Prix.
You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
I'm going to keep bigging up the Aero team and the Aero package because I really need them developments to come through. I've got 2 big Aero upgrades due for the Belgian Grand Prix, so hopefully if they come in we can start challenging for wins more in the dry rather than just when it starts raining.
Comfortable in the wet weather today?
I did feel comfortable. I was probably the quickest guy on track in the wet weather. We seem to do better in the wet than we do the dry for whatever reason. I'm not sure whether it's a setup thing or whether I'm just better in the wet than the dry, but I do seem to have improved a lot in the wet all of a sudden, and we're ahead of our rival with Bottas, so not a bad way to go into the summer break. And after the summer break, it is going to be the Belgian Grand Prix, where we are now in with a real chance of winning the title. Those 5 successive podiums have put us into 2nd in the championship within a race win of Lewis Hamilton. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time for some more My Team action. Goodbye.